Yes. So here we are with the new topic, that is your exercise number 3.3 from page number 54, diseases caused by microorganisms and viruses. Now, first of all, as you all are very much aware of that, what do we mean by microorganisms, right? Microorganisms are the living things, okay? There are different types of microorganisms, some that are good for your health and some which are harmful for human health and for plants. And microorganisms are there everywhere in our surroundings, on plants or living things, on non-living things, whether we breathe, whether we eat, everywhere is your microorganisms, whether you see it with your naked eyes or you don't. Microorganisms are basically tiny, tiny particles that a person cannot see without the help of a microorganisms, all right? But if you cannot see, it does not mean that it doesn't exist. It does exist in the environment everywhere. Now, how do they cause diseases and what are some viral diseases that are caused by microorganisms? We are going to get into it, all right? First of all, what is a disease, all right? The spelling mistake is here. E को दफा यहाँ पे add होगा, otherwise it's all correct. First of all, I would like to tell you that what is the meaning of disease. A disease is a particular abnormal condition that negatively affects the structure or function of parts of all organisms, and that is not due to any external injury. First of all, they are telling you that this is something that is negative. As you all know, जब हम बीमार होते हैं तो जाहिर सी बात है हमारी तबीयत बड़ी पॉजिटिव हमें वाइब्स तो आना नहीं शुरू हो जाती ना, because we are facing diseases, or if we caught by any disease, it means that this is basically a negative vibe or a negative, or your body function starts working negatively. All right, this is also a microorganisms which is there in your body, and it disturbs all your immune system. Not only your immune system, but all your inner organs also. For example, if your finger is injured, but you are going to feel low throughout, all right, overall your body will not feel comfortable. Just because you have an injury in your finger does not mean that सिर्फ आपका हैंड ही सफर करेगा, बट क्या होता है आपकी पूरी बॉडी में प्रॉब्लम हो रही होती है, यू डू नॉट फील गुड, ऑलराइट? So this is basically the impact of diseases. And disease does not only mean something that happens externally. ठीक है, disease का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि कोई भी ऐसी बीमारी जो नजर आ रही हो. Sometimes there is flu which does not have any sign symptoms. Mostly there does not have any proper signs and symptoms. Then you have a headache, you have an eye pain, you have nostril pains, you have throat pain. वो चीजें जो externally नजर नहीं आ रही हैं, but that is there in your body, all right? Diseases are often known to be medical conditions that are associated with specific symptoms and signs. Again, your diseases is something that is related to medical conditions, and all of your disease has some signs and some symptoms. Definitely, but if there would be no signs symptoms of your diseases, how would a doctor or how would an specialist come to know that what uh, diseases are you caught by? All right, and how would you know if you don't have any signs and symptoms? So of course this is a medicational thing and it does have a sign symptom of it. So that was all for diseases. Now diseases caused by bacteria and viruses. There are different diseases which are caused by bacteria and viruses. Now what are those? First of all, bacteria and viruses are everywhere in the nature, as we have discussed this earlier, but only a few cause diseases. All right, every bacteria and every virus does not cause disease, especially bacteria. When I talk about bacteria, not viruses, but every bacteria which is there is not harmful. Okay, as we have read earlier in the steps of making yogurt and everything, there are many bacteria which are added in your food as well. So जाहिर सी बात है वो harmful नहीं होंगी. Now diseases are caused by the agents which are called pathogens. Pathogens are also known as germs. ठीक है, germs को अगर हम scientific language में देखें so it is known as pathogens. Otherwise in common language you can call it as a germ. All right, so germs or pathogens are basically the agents of causing diseases. Now, viruses are very tiny organisms and exist almost everywhere, such as in the air, soil, and living organisms like humans. Human body also harbors a lot of viruses, but most of them do not cause disease. Now, what do we mean by harbor? Harbor means a negative thought or feeling that you have, but you only keep it with yourself only. ठीक है, कभी कभार ऐसा होता है ना that हमारे दिमाग में बड़ी नेगेटिव चीजें चल रही होती, but we do not discuss it to anyone. Why? Because we are not sure about it. So human mind works as an harbor. Over here also they are telling that not only human mind but a human body is also works as an harbor about a lot of viruses. ठीक है, but most of them do not cause disease. Now number 3, human immune system can generate bodies against viruses, the antibody will recognize the virus and destroy it. As you all know that in immune system, this is the reason, and this is the only thing that should be kept in mind. In order to keep your immune system, you must sleep, especially at night, all right, in order to keep your immune system rich. Because if you will have a rich immune system, you are going to, you can tackle almost 75% of the viruses or bacterial diseases that is caused within yourself. अगर आपका इम्यून सिस्टम स्ट्रांग होगा ना, तो आपकी बॉडी के अंदर जो डिजीजेस वायरस जनरेट करती है ना, वो 75% खुद ब खुद डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाएंगी बिकॉज ऑफ द agents and because of the cells which are there in your immune system. They will fight against those bacterial and viruses diseases themselves. All right. Now there are some diseases which are caused by viruses. ठीक है ना? Like cancer, you all are aware of it. There are different kinds of cancer, and cancer is basically a disease which is caused by a bacteria or a virus. Then dengue fever, all right. Then coronavirus यहाँ पे है नहीं, but of course that as well. How can we forget? Then Ebola, all right. Ebola is basically a high kind of a fever जिसमें 104 तक हमें बुखार चला जाता है. This is basically your Ebola, and in your Ebola, there is your throat also that suffers, your nostrils also that suffers, and your ear also that suffers. And sometimes you have internal bleeding as well. All right. Then your fifth disease. Your fifth disease is also known as your red slept disease. All right. Basically, this disease is found in children. इससे क्या होता है? The sign sometimes of these diseases is that basically the hands and the cheeks of child become extremely red. और ऐसा लग रहा होता है किसी ने मारा है, किसी ने थप्पड़ मारे. So the another name of fifth disease is known as red slap disease. Because cheeks ऐसे red हो जाते हैं और hand ऐसे red हो जाते हैं, and it seems that somebody has slapped or beaten that child. Then last but not the least, your flu. As you all are aware of it, that what are flu is basically caused by viruses or diseases. Now what are bacterial diseases? All right, there are also signs, symptoms, and the reasons behind bacterial diseases. Now over here, the spread of viral and bacterial diseases, there are basically some causes which are defined over here. Viral and bacterial infections are both spread in basically the same ways. All right. A person with a cold can spread infection by coughing or sneezing. This is the reason that whenever we are caught by a virus or sorry, not virus, but whenever we are caught by a viral or infectious diseases, we are the doctors prescribe us to stay away from the other person, because ये वो वाली diseases जो लगती हैं, these are the diseases which are communicable. All right. ये होता है ना, कभी कभार आपने भी देखा होगा that if a person is caught by a flu or any of the viral disease, first of all you keep the towels away. ठीक है? Separate towels, separate utensils, separate plates. All right. उनकी सारी चीजें separate हो जाती हैं ताकि कोई किसी भी किस्म के कोई communication ना रहे आपस में. Then number 3, bacteria or viruses can be passed on by touching or shaking hands with another person. Again, the same thing. It can be, transferred in person to person. Touching food with dirty hand will also allow viruses or bacteria from the intestine to spread. Again, और ये तो common sense की बात है. In our religion also, it has been taught to us since many years ago that in order to have any food, before consuming any food, we need to wash our hands and even that food as well. ठीक है? खाना बनाने से पहले भी हम उसको wash करते हैं, whether we cook vegetables or meat. Then there are 7 diseases which are caused by bacteria. I'm not getting into the explanation of these diseases right now. I will be explaining it later, but अभी मैं सिर्फ I'm just naming them for you. Flesh eating diseases, कुछ कभी कभार कुछ ऐसे होते हैं, हम इस तरह के मीट्स खा लेते हैं जिसको खाने से डेथ तक हो जाती है लोगों की. आपने सुना होगा अक्सर रेस्टोरेंट्स में भी ऐसा होता है, सील हो जाते हैं. ठीक है? Flesh eating diseases, then staph infection, that is your throat infection, then meningitis, then pneumonia, then tuberculosis, then chlorea, and then dentistries. I will be explaining it to you in detail as well. All right, that what are these diseases? All right, so that's all for your diseases caused by microorganisms and viruses, and we have just discussed 2 right now. That is your viral diseases and your bacterial diseases.